Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're about to do the wonderful talk of this Purebase 500 that you may have seen in the background of my video. It's actually now my streaming server. So this little bad boy here is actually going to work and it's doing pretty darn good for me. So let's check out my thoughts on the Purebase 500 from Bequiet. Okay guys, so overall, this case is really silent. Now, I have to say it's completely silent using the parts that I used. Now, what am I using? I'm using the Bequiet Dark Rock Slim Cooler that you've seen in the review video. And I'm using that because it is in my studio and I need that quietness. I could put the mic to this as I showed you guys. I can't hear it. It's phenomenal. And I'm using their fans that came with the case, as they are the same tech and silent as the cooler. For the power supply, I am using Bequiet's Straight Power 11 650 watt real 80 plus gold. This power supply weighs quite well. Another thing I liked about this power supply is the cage that goes over your fan is actually more of a metal sliding system than it is a bolt-in system that usually gets caught when you're putting it in and out of your system. So I thought that was pretty cool. Really nice change on the power supply, guys. I like it. As far as the case, of course, it's the Purebase 500. This case is not released yet, as far as I know, into Canada, but it is in the United States, so I'll leave links to purchase it off Amazon, as I did when I did the open box video. If I find a video or a link for Canada, I will link it, but as of the knowledge I have right now, this case is not here yet. Now, overall, the build, phenomenal. You would not think that I'm building a $100 to $120 case. You would think I'm building more of a $200-300 case. And the reason why I say that is numerous things. One, well, first right off the bat, the build quality. The build quality is just as good as, let's say, the Dark 900. The materials are different, but the build quality is as good. The Dark 900 was using a lot of aluminum. This one's using a lot of metal. And that's not a bad thing. I'm very impressed with the way this was built. Now, it's lacking a few things over the Dark 900, and if you're looking for a full-size tower, I will link the review video for the Dark 900 because that would be the case for you. If you're looking for a case that'd be more of the mid-tower range but still can support a full-size board or a mid-size board, this is more than likely probably the case for you. This case performs quite well. The only con that I had with this case, and I'm going to say it's pretty much the only con, was the front venting. I would prefer that it did have more air intake. Other than that though, this was the same problem that I only had with the Dark 900. The Dark 900 was built on the same idea. Now this platform is a new platform built from the ground up. So this is not based off the Dark 900. It's not a mini Dark 900. You'll see a few changes when I show you that. On this model, you'll also see that it is tempered glass. You'll see that I did figure out a way to light it up, and that was one of my goals. I wanted to make sure that I could light this the way I wanted to light it. Now I'm going to show you the inside of this unit real quick, just as it's lit, to talk about what I did. Now all the lighting inside this case is actually hidden. I made sure that not one bit of light would be seen in any way or form. And that was something I was going for. I didn't want any RGB going on inside this case, like light up RAM, lit up cooler, like I did with my other one. This one was to be my dark series. This was to be my, only lighting would be coming from lighting that was hidden. So what I did was, the Shroud, as you can see, I did actually light that up. I put lighting in behind the cooler, or the, power supply, aimed up, and I put a full strip right down the line on the inside, and you can see that the, punch outs that are in the mesh in the Shroud down here are actually fully lit up and it looks really good. Then I hid another strip behind the motherboard, believe it or not, firing at the back panel, dispensing light this way and this way. So I'm dispensing the light up and down to give that glow going out and under. I thought that was a really cool idea. and it looks like it turned out very well. And then of course I hit another one up top, shooting down, completing that full glow. So overall, I was very impressed with how I could light this. I was trying to figure out a neat way to light it, but keep it a dark looking series, keeping that appearance, and I did what I thought anyway, looks really good. Top, we had this piece that came with it that's color matched, and then we have the mesh, and the mesh just snaps in like so. And on this color, or the darker colors, this does look really good. On the white, I probably wouldn't use it aesthetically. Other than that, if you were overclocking or you had a fan system put up here on top, which I do not, I would probably recommend using the mesh. Over my tests, I did not see a need to put the mesh on, so I kept the stock color matched cover on. And the reason for that was I do not have fans up top, and I'm not overclocking, so I did not really see a temperature, maybe a 1 degree difference between off and on. It wasn't enough for me to go, oh, that's really killing the cooling. It really wasn't. Now, if I was overclocking or I had a radiator or water cool, then I would definitely add that to the top because I want that air intake, that extra air intake that's needed. Also, I didn't want to smother the system's airflow. So right now it's coming in through the sides, through this intake, going through the system, and everything is pulling out. To me, that is the right way to move your air. You're keeping a cool air coming in and a warm air going out, and you're just keeping that proper pressure. So instead of negative, I have positive pressure going on in this system, and that is something that I tend to like to do. Depending on the build, of course, if I had radiators, then I would probably go a little more negative, as you don't want as much airflow going on where you're trying to get the heat out as fast as possible. Now, a couple things I'd like to point out here. One, how clean this new metal shroud covers everything. And I was showing some close-ups earlier, and you can see some close-ups again. All the wires basically go behind this metal shroud. This is a massive improvement over the Dark 900. I really wish the Dark 900 had this, and maybe a V3 or a V4 revision or something might come out, or a complete redesign of the Dark 900, maybe the D1000, who knows, will have it. And then you see the Bequiet logo. I focused in on that earlier on a zoom in. You can mount a hard drive underneath and a hard drive above. And what that does, if I was to put a hard drive here like this, then you won't see any of the cables that would connect on the top of your hard drive. They would all be hidden behind the shroud that is on this unit. And I thought that was really sharp. I almost put one in just to show that, but this is an M.2 build. I didn't need anything more than a 250 M.2 in this system, so that's what I stuck with. Keeping it, of course, cleaner, but at the same time, you wouldn't notice that it isn't cleaner, because if that was mounted in there, you would just see the shroud. You would not see any wiring whatsoever. This would all be hidden. So every connector would be completely not visible to you. It would be covered by that plate. That's a really cool design that I applaud them for. I've never seen anybody else do that in a system before, and overall, I highly recommend this case. This case with the parts that I used. Everything else, of course, is AMD Ryzen. It is a Gigabyte motherboard, a Gigabyte video card, which is pretty easy to tell because it's lit up. I'm a big Gigabyte fan, so if Gigabyte, if you're out there, yes, I'm a #1 or 2 or 3 or something fan. Get it, fan? Woo, no. Okay, so who's this case for? Actually, this case is pretty much for everybody. This case can be used in gaming applications, studio applications, which I'm using it in. I lit it up because I'm a gamer. I got to do something with it. It can be used as just your regular everyday office computer. If you don't want to hear a machine run, this machine is pretty darn quiet. This is so much more quiet than my Dark 900 right now. And the only reason why I say that is I think my video card in the Dark 900 is a little louder, so I hear it. Whereas I don't hear it in this one, but I don't really do enough on this one to rev it up, so maybe I'm not noticing it. But when I did play a bit of Fortnite, that and whatever, to test a few things, didn't really still hear it. So I do find that the build quality and the sound dampening was done quite well on this system. And if you're looking for, shh, be quiet, then these cases are definitely for you. If you're looking for something smaller, I definitely recommend a Pure Base 500. I had no issues with this build. I thought the room in the back of this case was far superior to the Dark 900. Sorry to say that. I love my Dark 900. I love the USB-C on the front, and this does not have USB-C, but those are minor things. It doesn't have the phone charger, but I mean, hey, that's a almost $400 case versus a $100 to $120 case. So again, guys, I'll leave links for this down below. I do recommend the case. I'm not paid or endorsed by Bequiet in any which way or form. I'm allowed to do these reviews as I see fit. And I see this case as a win in the mid-tower era. If you're looking for mid-towers and you want to compare mid-tower versus mid-tower versus mid-tower, you will spend quite a bit of money to come even close to this, in my opinion, probably the $200 to $300 area, and still not have as quiet a system. To me, guys, that meant everything. You can always ask any questions in the links below, and I will definitely answer them. Anybody knows me or anybody has responded to me in the past, you know that eventually, within hours and sometimes maybe a day at most, I will get back to you. One way or another, I will answer your question. If I don't have an answer, I will either find it or say, I'm sorry, I don't know that answer. So guys, till next time, thank you for watching. Game over.